All right, you guys, we're gonna start tonight actually in our first inversion. So quick format for this class is we're gonna be doing some yin poses where you're static, you're still, you're embracing whichever part of the body we're focusing on. And then there's gonna be some times for movement and a lot of time for just self-inquiry. This practice for me is evolving. It's just a combination of many different tools. So I want you to be able to take agency to do whatever you need to do to modify, or if that means moving over being still or being still over moving, you're in your own space, so go with it. So we're gonna start on the back. Supported bridge pose. I want you to feel like you're really able to just get the back open without any effort. So I like to use 2 blocks. Those will be right under my hips, and or 1 or 2 pillows back behind you. And to start out, you're gonna lift your butt up onto said blocks or onto the pillow and roll back so that ultimately your hips are just slightly elevated above your upper body. Your head can be hanging off the pillow, or you might have another pillow or block behind you. You get the idea. So just make yourself extremely comfortable. If you're choosing to have your feet on the ground, maybe that means you'd like a little bit more grounding. Bring your feet wide and turn the knees in on top of each other. And if you're feeling like let's just dive right into the deep end, you can extend your legs and again, separate the feet wide, turn the toes out. And I'd like you to just take your hand to your belly, take your other hand right across your chest. And we're going to stay here for about 5 minutes, so get comfortable. One of the first ways that we can get comfortable, not only in the body, but in our state of mind, is presence, is that simple pause when you take a deep inhale through the nose. You just slowly let that breath exhale. And just repeat that. Inhale through your nose and exhale with no effort except from bringing your attention to your breath. Maybe you've had a really fruitful day. Maybe you felt productive. Maybe you feel, high energy, good vibrations. If that's the case, really thrive in those feelings. Let them wash up and down your whole body, in and out of your whole body. And if you are feeling depleted or frustrated or disconnected, I invite you to also let those feelings swirl and let this pose be an opportunity to invite in the new wave of connection, of breath, of vitality. There's nothing that you need to do in this practice except just fervently show up for yourself. You can bring your attention to the space that's underneath your hands, where your hands are in fact connecting to your body. And first, just notice what that feels like. Notice the clothing up against your skin. Maybe notice the clothing down around the legs or on the outside of your arms. With each breath, you can notice another or a deeper or a wider layer of your senses. So notice the temperature of the air or maybe the ground. Notice all of the sounds around you. And then try to notice some of the subtler sounds, the sounds deeper within, closer to you, closer to earth. Notice what the space smells like. I think a sensation that we don't tap into in these practices is our sense of taste, which is very connected to your sense of health, your well-being, your state of mind. So notice what your mouth tastes like right now. Any flavors or even any emotions. Just let these next couple of slow, deep breaths help you to feel more connected to your physicality, to all these sensations. As you inhale, I want you to just slowly start to separate the hands from the body. Imagine they have like sticky glue, like rubber cement, and you're continuing to breathe in as you expand that space between your hands and your body. And imagine that that sticky glue is actually stuff, that sensation that you have visualized. Keep breathing, keep stretching all of that stuff, all of that awareness, open, open, open. Full inhale, feel it stretch across your chest and out in between every finger. And then as you exhale, I want you to push slowly that energy, that attention all the way up towards the ceiling or towards the lights, towards the sky. You're just really sending all of those sensations out, allowing to create space for new sensations and new awareness to come into your body. So now as you breathe in, imagine you're taking hold of the golden light of day. The smell of a pine forest or the ocean breeze, you're taking in sunshine and warmth, deliciousness. You're bringing that all the way into your chest. And your hands will, as you exhale, just fill your whole body with those new sensations, those new inputs. You can take another breath or two and slide the hands down to your belly and just give a little massage. You can go, clockwise, moving from the right to the left. That feels good on your digestion. We're just trying to churn up your chi, your vitality. So it doesn't have to be hard, it doesn't have to be soft, it doesn't have to be fast or slow. You could tap the belly just with your fingers, or maybe you make a soft fist. If you're feeling a little stagnant, if your digestion's been off, if you've got any type of tension, stress, this is a great way to just literally shake things up. And then bring those taps up to your sternum and up towards the top of your collarbones and just tap the chest. Again, you can do this more softly if you're feeling overwhelmed. We're just breaking up all that sticky stuff, all those sensations and attachments. And then take another deep breath in. Reach the arms up and overhead. As you exhale, roll to your right. Come down. If you're on a block or a bolster or a pillow, just come down to the side enough that you can move that stuff all the way out of your way. And then you're going to come back onto your back. We're going to warm up some of these outer lines. I've been learning a lot of Qigong lately, and these are the outer lines that are really deeply connected to the season that we're in right now. The liver, the gallbladder, these like big digestive organs. So we're gonna do a pose called shoelace, and you can lift one leg, cross your knee over the other one, and this might be a great place for many of you to stay and just hang out. Otherwise, you're going to bring your knees towards your chest and take hold of your feet across the top of your foot with both hands. And then you can either bring your hands and your ankles closer to your butt, keeping the knees towards your chest, or eventually start to move the knees away from your face, keeping the heels drawn in. You want to do this to where you're not efforting too much. So if your knees are all the way out and your abs are on and you feel like you're doing a sit-up, come back just a little bit. And just focus on that breath. The simple act of noticing it, of acknowledging that it exists. This is mindfulness. This is bringing us into the present moment through our body. So let your eyes stay closed for this one and just allow that breath to be a really sweet experience. Be curious about your breath. Be curious about now all of these internal sensations that are happening in the legs and in the arms and in the chest and in the back. Take another full deep inhale. On the exhale, keep your hands connected to your feet and reach your legs all the way up over your head. Just a little stretch through your legs. You can bend the knees or straighten them. You're just going to switch the hands and switch the foot that was on top. So you're letting go to reconnect. And then rebend. Now your other knee should be on top. You might readjust yourself on the ground. Go into that place where you're getting more curious again. Maybe that means you're drawing the knees in closer. Maybe that means you need to do a little bit less and hang out a little bit more. Take about 5 or 6 slow breaths. Again, notice the sensation of the air coming into your mouth or your nose, swirling around the chest, the ribs, the belly, moving that energy and that attention into the legs, down through the feet, clearing stuff out, accumulation. And that breath comes back in like a wave to revitalize you, to bring you back into yourself. Another slow, deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, start to lift the feet and the hands up, straighten the legs over your head. And this time, you're going to lower your left leg all the way back down. Keep the right knee and take hold of the ankle and just draw that knee in as close as you can to your ribs or your chest. We're going to do a little movement here. I call it alternating half happy baby. It's a mouthful. So with your left hand, take hold of the outside part of your right leg. Take a deep breath. And as you exhale, you're going to bring that leg all the way across your body into a twist. It doesn't have to be deep. You don't have to straighten the leg. On the inhale, you come back to that same position. You switch the hand grip and you see if you can bring your leg a little bit further out towards your right shoulder. And then switch again as you exhale, left hand to the foot, take the leg all the way across the body. Inhale, bring the knee back towards the right armpit and extend that foot or leg all the way up and back. Try this about twice more on your own. Nice and slow, just with your breath. not making too much effort, but rather trying to enjoy these slow movements and transitions. So we're going to try that on the other side. Do the best you can to lower your right leg very easily. Just be tender with yourself. Draw the left knee in, take hold of the foot with your right hand. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, that leg comes across the body. You can even look back towards your back hand. Inhale, take hold of the leg with your same hand. Draw the knee out wide. Stretch the leg back. Twice more like that on your own. Exhale across. Inhale to that half happy baby. I like to think of these poses as like pumps. Like if you lived in an aquarium and you didn't have a pump, the water would become disgusting. You remember Finding Nemo? All those fish are like, oh my gosh, this aquarium is so filthy, we can't even see out, and that's what happens in the body. So these little pumping movements are just squeezing the juice around, flowing it, washing it out, wringing it out. Okay, straighten both of your legs on the ground. Reach your hands up and overhead. And you're going to cross your left ankle over your right. You're going to take a deep breath in and bring your palms together. Stretch the arms really, really far back. As you exhale, squeeze your body on the right side to make a side bend on the ground. Both of your shoulders are still relaxed. Your head is totally relaxed. You're just engaging that right side to stretch the left side for about 5 breaths. Essentially, you're like a really big banana. You're just getting this beautiful crescent shape in the upper body. One of my teachers, who is an awesome Qigong practitioner, she says that this side body is where we really accumulate all that gunk. So imagine that rubber cement or that like phlegm or just yucky stuff that gets in the body. As you exhale here now, you can even open your mouth and make a shh sound and just send all that energy out through the side body. So let's do it twice together. Breathe in. Keep the side bend, but just say shh. Again, breathe in. Find length. As you exhale, just send all that gunk from the fingers all the way down the side body, down the legs, out through the pinky toe. Shh. And then come back through center. You'll switch the leg that was on top, so right ankle over left. If you're doing that Kali Mudra with your pointer finger straight, see if you can just switch which thumb was on top. And we'll do that same thing, 5 breaths. Inhale, get long. Exhale, side bend to your left. Shh. Inhale. Exhale. Let your breath come in and out at your own pace. Don't rush it. And also don't try to pause. See if your entire range of breath can just be as effortless and as slow as possible. Two more rounds. If you need to, that really big exhale through the teeth. Shh. Clear out the gunk. So there's more space to revitalize, to fill up. Okay, you're going to breathe in. You're going to slowly bring your knees to your chest. Reach the hands all the way down towards the ankles. And then lift your chin up, look at your belly button. Start to push your ankles away and then draw them back in. So you rock up and down about 5 times. Just kind of opening up the upper back, getting a little movement through the kidneys, warming the spine. You're going to rock all the way up to seated. And then you can cross your knees or cross your ankles and come up to a kneeling position. But I want you to be kneeling here with the ankles crossed, which might be different from some poses for many of you. And what we're going to do is just a little compression and massage for the feet and the calves. So whichever foot is on top, I want you to find that connection, that perfect fit from your ankle right on top of your other ankle at the back, like on your Achilles. And then you can sit back and really let yourself settle down into that. And then you can lean forward again and just move either the shin up and down the calf or move the ankle towards the knee, up and back. So you're getting like all these different ways to not only massage the leg that's on the bottom, but the leg that's on the top, you're getting a massage as well. Does that make sense? So you're kind of leaning forward and leaning back, just offering gravity, body weight, breath, presence, making like calf sandwiches, which sounds totally non-vegan. Think about it as like a tofu sandwich that looks like your calf. Okay, so you've gone up and down the calf. Maybe you've just sat down at the Achilles once or twice. Now we're going to do a fun move to get the back of your foot. So whichever leg was on top, you can lift that knee out to the side, and I want you to just step on your own foot. So you're kind of in this weird like half kneeling position. And you can do this as creatively as you'd like. You're essentially just using, here, your foot on your other foot and your body weight to smear or stamp on or squish or roll down the surfaces of that foot. I like to make sure I'm getting the big toe, even the tiny pinky toe, the heel. I feel like right now the feet are so important because at least up here in Washington it's colder. I'm noticing I'm wearing shoes and socks more and I'm not walking outside barefoot. So I think this is a really nice practice to make sure that the feet stay healthy and stimulated. Keep things moving and awake. Okay, last one. We're going to focus on this back ankle for a second. So you can see this. I want you to find a way to hold your ankle. And I'm in this half kneeling position. And then I want you to lean your knee forward. Try not to let that ankle lift up off of the ground. So you're rooting it down. And if your range of motion is smaller, that's fine. We're just trying to really open up some of that fascia, some of the connective tissue there at the ankle, just trying to encourage it to stretch a little bit and move. Some of you might be like ultra flexible. Like for me, I can go pretty much all of my weight on that foot. Doesn't mean that you have to do that. Okay, bring the knee back to the ground. Switch the leg that you had up. Cross that ankle or foot or calf behind. And start to work on the calf, making a sandwich. I'm enjoying these types of movements because they don't require any gear. You don't have to have someone else, to work on you, with you. It's really about tuning into the senses and the sensitivity that you can create by being curious about your own body. What feels good to you? How much pressure do you like? Does that change from day to day or from body area to body area? Does it feel nicer to go really slow and still or to move with more intention? So you can try to make now the foot sandwich, stamping your top foot right down on your other foot. I'm constantly looking for ease, so I'm trying to relax my upper body as much as possible. I'm trying to be really lazy. Even though your breath might not be as slow or fluid as we were when we were on the ground, you can still be aware of it. You can still consciously try to synchronize how you move with when you breathe. So let's do 1 or 2 more steps. Okay, and then you're going to come back to kneeling, this time with your feet just totally pointed back behind you. You're going to take one hand to the opposite knee. Just see if you can lift that knee up, and then lean back and create a really big drag of tension from the arm to the neck. And the front of the shin is getting a little bit of a stretch. Slow the breath down. Release that knee, switch hands. Same thing, second side. If you really want to get lazy and you can go back a lot, your backhand can hold you, and it can also create just a really nice pillow for your neck to receive, to receive, to receive. Okay, we're going to do a tiny bit of arm work before we go up back to the ground. So we did this last week, a little bit more of like a lobster claw. And you're going to take one hand with the lobster claw, start on the shoulder, and keep the arm that's in your lap so heavy that you're using the lobster claw to squeeze, and then you're letting your other arm and shoulder just hang and drag down. So think about it this way. The inhale, there's a compression. The exhale, there's elongation. Inhale, go down a little further, compress. And exhale, just let it hang or drag. You're going to go all the way down towards the base of the elbow. And then the hand that's in your lap, that hand can face up. And you can just pour your body weight straight down from the palm of your hand into your forearm. I'm rocking forward and back to increase the weight. And I'm using my thigh as, again, like a 2-for-1. I'm getting a nice quad massage by pouring my, flat hand into that leg. And I'm also getting this really supple surface so that my hands can get even deeper work. And it can sometimes feel like you're efforting here, so try to do less. Try to close your eyes even if that's hard for you, especially if that's hard for you. And maybe the next 3 be the only movements, the next 3 breaths, the only movements that you have. Make them count. Fully present, curious, connected. Okay, just brush that arm. 3 times. Just brush all this stuff out. And we're going to do the second side, so make your lobster claw. You start right at the upper shoulder. Squeeze, and then release. So I'm squeezing in. I'm kind of lifting that arm up. And then I'm lowering and slightly dragging. So it's not a lot of effort or movement, but a lot of feeling. There's no rush here. Your body knows exactly the cadence, the quantity, and the quality of the touch that it likes. So deep listening. Once you get to the forearm, you can start squishing, pressing, leaning. I think about like how complicated I tend to make my own life and my own practice. Like, how many tools can I use, or how many projects can I do at one time? And instead of focusing on how simple it is to just use one palm on the other and how delicious that can feel, or just how simple it is to take a walk without music, without a phone, without thinking about what I'm having to do next. So these are kind of the same practices. How simple can you make each one? Okay. 3 swipes all the way down that arm. Send anything that sticky or gross, stagnant out. You're going to rock yourself onto one side. Slide the legs out. Fix your pants if they're messed up. Okay. Right heel comes in, not towards your perineum, but towards the inside of your thigh or the knee. We're just going to take this one super slow. So Janu Shirsasana, in the yin practice, it's called half dragonfly. The difference being we're not trying to focus on lengthening or straightening the hamstring and the leg. We're actually focusing on relaxing it and getting a little bit bigger stretch through the back body. So you'll turn towards your leg. If you do have a pillow or a bolster, you can place it on your leg, and then you get this wonderful extra reclining chair just to hang out in. So allow yourself to fold. You can cross your arms, rest your head, or it might feel really nourishing to you to be up on your elbows and actually hold your head. You can either turn your chin in and down, just really diving into the darker side, the quieter, the introspecting. Or you could hold underneath your chin, keeping your head up. Trying to open some of the drainage that goes from your face and your skull all the way down through the front of your throat and neck, all the way into the chest. There's not really a right or a wrong way to do it. I'm sure that can be debated, but for tonight, the right way is the way that feels the best, the way that's going to create the most support for you to unwind. Once you've tapped into that sense where you're comfortable, where you're feeling supported, choose to stay there. Choose to be very, very still. This is like Jedi training. Even in a easy pose, a restorative pose. There's so many distractions. There's so much that we allow ourselves to focus on instead of actually being still. So your body is getting relief and restoration, and at the same time, your mind is training, it's lifting weights, it's becoming more and more perceptive and resilient. And if you get a little distracted or uncomfortable, take that pause, breathe in, notice. Exhale, start again. We'll take 3 more breaths here, nice and slow. When you feel complete with that, do your best to stay lazy. Crawl the arms back. Try to keep that leg just asleep, just quiet. Crawl the arms back. You can put the pillow in front of you. Hands behind your hips. Lean back and super lazy straighten the other leg. And super lazy now bend the one that was straight and just switch sides. We're trying to stay in that chill zone. Like when you've had a dream and it's 2 in the morning and you think you have to pee, you really like the dream, so you let yourself go back to sleep. It's like that. So readjust, crawl yourself forward. And if you notice that other side, there was something missing, like you needed an extra pillow or maybe going a little bit closer with the arms so that you can actually just hang out, feels better, just make that little adjustment. Check in that you're still connected to your breath, which is in fact that vitality that we have. It's the only thing really that keeps us on this planet besides gravity itself. Allow yourself to embrace that steady state. Consciously choosing to be still. Aware of all that is moving within and without. Patiently waiting. You feel the urge to shift. Stay with that breath. Inhale. Exhale. You can complete 3 or 4 more rounds just like that. Wait for your next inhale to readjust now, walk back. Let the torso rise up. Feel the energy of the legs. Feel all that like warmth, that kind of steadiness, that liquid moving throughout the legs. Just keep it there. We're going to circulate that energy now. So blanket or pillow goes away. Bring the hands back behind you. And then the leg that was straight, I want you to bend that knee and see if you can slide your ankle back behind you. And then bring the hands forward in front of one leg. You're going to lift up really slow. So you're kind of in that 90-90, almost like a table. We're going to go into frog pose from here. So now both of your knees will go wide. Ideally in frog, you want the ankles to be perpendicular or in line with your knees. So as the knees go apart, a couple of options are that you can keep the hips where they are, or you can start to push the hips back. There are different things that will happen there. You can have a pillow or a block, preferably a couple blocks for your head or for your chest. If this is a really intense pose, you want most of your upper body weight supported. And then wherever you are, try to relax your head either into your hands, or maybe you just invite the neck down, chin towards your belly, and soften the belly. We tend to stay very contracted in these hip positions because they're really intense and deeply vulnerable. But I invite you to open yourself up in a way by dropping the belly, by sinking into the shoulders. Find that safety, find that security, and send loving kindness through each breath like a wave down into the legs to stir up all of that deep, 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 beautiful blood, all that circulation that we're creating just by giving our attention to this area. If you like to practice yin, or you find yourself doing or wanting these types of poses in your practice, I highly encourage you to buy a sheepskin rug, because you'll start doing frog and you won't notice that your legs have slid out about 5 inches. So really you get so much deeper into the pose without even knowing it. You might even find that you're stuck, like I find myself to be currently. In which case, don't freak out. Stay with your breath. You have about 3 more slow cycles of breathing to either stay where you are or go a little deeper, legs wider, feet out, or maybe the depth is just your perception. The depth is just connection to your senses. When you feel complete in this next exhale, you're going to bring the heels closer together. If you're on something that's supporting your chest, bring your hands down onto the ground. Start to push up, and then just bring the knees together really slowly. You can untuck the toes, and shift back like a child's pose, but not folding down. We're just going to keep the torso up. We're trying to circulate that energy through the legs. And you can lift the hips from the knees, come back towards more of a tabletop. Any movement here in the spine is nice. Cat and cow, or little hip circles. Side bend. If your legs are feeling a little sleepy or numb, little taps with the toes. Okay, you come back up to hero. So I want to show you up here what we're going to do next, because it'll kind of lead us into Shavasana, and I don't want you to have to look at the camera so much. So we're going to be coming down onto our bellies, so you'll be essentially like in a Sphinx pose with your forearms on the ground. We'll do one or two things there, and then really what you're going to do is cross your arms like you're going to do this big pose, and it'll feel kind of weird on the ground. It'll feel great. And then from there, you're going to come into this like side laying position. So I want to show that just so it doesn't sound weird when I'm doing it. So we'll be in Sphinx. You're going to cross the arms. We'll stay there for a second. And then you're going to roll to one side and bring your knee up. So you have this natural pillow. Maybe some of you sleep like this. And then we'll go and transition to the other side. Okay. Then we'll go into a nice Shavasana. So come down onto your belly. You've got the legs all cleared out, all sorts of stuff that's moving and grooving. Elbows are fairly close to your ribs. They can also be further away. It's going to put a little bit more back bend. So whatever you're feeling in the mood for. Lift your legs up one at a time. Turn your toes in. You're internally rotating the legs so your feet are turned in. And then really what we're going to do is similar to what we did in the feet. You're going to cross one hand and use the soft part of your forearm to roll on the other hand, wrist and forearm. So I'm going from my elbow out and down into the hand, and I'm using my top arm like I'm turning a doorknob, just rolling it out. When you get to your hand, you can use the elbow and keep your other hand really soft. And just find a couple of great places, the base of the knuckles or the center of the palm. Just trying to wake things up there. As we're getting this kind of chilled out back bend version of Sphinx. Okay, switch the arm that was on the ground. So now you'll have another round. And if you're noticing that it's a lot of effort, you can just bring that hand closer so that you don't have to do much. You can actually just rest. Most of my body weight now is just hanging down into my forearms. I'm essentially teaching a class that's basically just how I hang out during the day. So if you ever just want to hang out, we can turn it into a class. This is a lot of how I am trying to care for my body with tender, loving kindness, in addition to other things, but this is one of my favorites. Don't skip over this hand. Get your elbow, smash the palm. By lowering the wrist slowly towards the fingers, you can just get a nice pressure, maybe even a little traction through the knuckles. Okay. So walk your hands a little wider. Take a deep breath in, push the chest away from the ground. So push down, lift the chin, arch the back. And then as you exhale, one hand, let's say our left, is going to go underneath or behind the right. You're just going to come down onto that shoulder. Get a little stretch through the arm. And then the opposite knee, you'll bend it towards your shoulder. You can make a pillow with your hand. I'm just trying to wring everything out now that it's all been revitalized. So as you arrive in this side twisted, sleeping baby asana, let go of any control that you still have with your breath. Let go of any additional tension that there might be in your fingers, even in your head. Like, can you really let your head hang? Really let your feet and your knees find the perfect place on the floor. You can close your eyes. And again, come back to those sensations, which were the simple tactile feeling of your body against the ground and your skin against your clothes. Notice the heat that might be either around you or emanating from inside of you. Notice the coolness. Anything that has come into your space as a smell, an aroma, an essence. Notice again as you're breathing just the quality of how your mouth tastes. Maybe it's more sweet. Maybe it's just different. Maybe there's a sourness. Maybe there's a dryness. Take all of those sensations in. Then just take another slow, deep breath. Enjoy it. Enjoy it like a journey, like a movie. When you've completed that breath, just very gently start to bring both of the legs back down into straight. Without doing a lot of work, I want you to switch to the other side. Think if you can just roll. Now the top arm becomes the bottom arm, the other knee comes up. You find that nice pillow with your hand. Final readjustments that you might need to feel really supported, really stable in this place. The breath never stops until it does. It's an absolute actual miracle. So as you're observing yourself, as you're feeling all of the things and all of the feels, just take a second to rejoice in that miracle that you get to breathe, and that now you get to breathe with a conscious awareness. And if you ever feel lost or confused or disconnected from yourself or from anyone else, come back to this very moment. Maybe you come back to this very pose and just remember that it is an absolute actual miracle to breathe and to be alive. So with that, deep in the breath, draw in energy, tenderness, sweetness, that aroma of good vibes. With the hand that was on the top, push down into the ground. Roll yourself onto your back. Any variation of a shavasana that feels good for you is what I want you to do. And the more bolsters and props, sometimes the better. If you're wanting to have something under your ankles, that's really nice. A blanket across your chest or your belly. If you don't want to use anything, just hold your hands over your belly and your chest. One deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, and as eloquent, as loud as you need to, give it up. Doesn't matter because you're on mute, so it's all good. We'll do it one more time, just in case you really need to get anything out. Anything that comes out is fine. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Fill up slow, drawing that energy in, rejoicing and celebrating, and exhale. And then just stay in this sweet shavasana for at least 5 minutes. Maybe longer if you have space and time, or if you just end up staying because it feels good. No matter how long you stay here or what is in store, I hope that you feel well, hope that you feel better. I hope that you know that I am sending you an energetic hug filled with delicious, warm, golden light. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to leave you wherever you are, and I'll see you along the cosmic interweb another time.